ceiling fight is delayed for now, but even if everything goes according to plan, the agreement will do nothing to stop automatic across-the-board sequestration cuts from taking effect on March 1st. So what do we do now? Republican Senator Mike Lee joins me from Capitol Hill. Senator Lee, thanks for coming on. You know, I think a lot of Americans are surprised to hear right now that we still have this sequestration problem in place with all of the wrangling that we've seen going on in the last couple of days. What's the plan?
You know, at this point, there is no plan on the table because the attention has all been focused on the debt limit issue. And the two are related, of course, because ultimately it's not the debt limit itself that is the problem. It's the spending that goes on that propels us forward with having to raise the debt limit every 6 to 18 months because we can't get our spending under control. So when we passed this in 2011, when we raised the debt limit then, we put in place some automatic cuts that would kick in if the super committee couldn't come up with a proposal.
Yeah, but now we're sitting on the precipice of that. So what do you think is going to happen? I mean, what's the talk?
You know, there's a lot of talk in Congress about the need to move toward targeted cuts of the same amount as what were called for in the sequestration. See, sequestration takes a disproportionately large bite out of our defense infrastructure. And a lot of people are concerned about that, and they say we ought to spread it out more evenly across all non-mandatory spending, meaning spending outside of entitlements.
You know, one thing that you have put forward that I think is fantastic is an amendment to the Constitution. You want to require Congress to not spend more than it takes in taxes. I mean, if you want to call taxation making money, but it can't spend more than it takes in. Are you getting any traction on that?
Yeah, see, this is an idea, an old idea, whose time has finally come. And, you know, polls show that about 75% of all Americans support this idea. Most of the state legislatures operate the same way. And we need to do this because we need permanent structural spending reform so that we don't find ourselves back in the same position every 6 to 18 months and having to raise the debt limit.
You want to limit spending to 18% of the gross national product. 18%. Right now, we're spending at a rate of about 23%, and we're looking at some of the other things that you would do. You want a historical average of total federal receipts. Congress can only run a deficit or raise taxes or increase debt if agreed upon by a 2/3 vote. I mean, I like the way this sounds, but it also sounds like you couldn't possibly get other politicians to agree to this.
Yeah, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. This is not an easy sell to put on the books right now, but we do have a lot of support, even within the Senate, for the idea of a balanced budget amendment. Let's take the last Congress, for example. Last time we had votes on a balanced budget amendment, we had two proposals. We had the Hatch-Lee amendment, which got all 47 Republicans then in the Senate voting for it. We had the Udall Democratic alternative balanced budget amendment proposal, which got 20 Democrats to vote for it. You add those together, that's 67 votes. That's the 2/3 margin you need in the Senate to propose a balanced budget amendment. Yes. So there is enough support to get it out. It's just we haven't settled on a single proposal, and that's what we hope to work toward.
Yeah, good luck. We'd love to see it. Senator Mike Lee, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.